I think,
What? Go ahead.
no, I was just saying that, see if this doesn't like turn out proper, no pressure. We can start from the next place. Right
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
we'll just put normal posts.
yeah, yeah. We can go ahead. Let's go. We can do this. All the best. Hi, folks. Welcome to the F1GridView. Today we'll be reviewing the 2021's Russian Sochi Grand Prix that was held on the 26th of September 2019. I'm your host, Harsh Sanghavi, with your co-host Mihika Shah there. Hi.
Hi.
So, what do you think of the race? How was it? The Sochi Grand Prix is generally one of the most boring ones. What was your
Yeah,
take on
and
that?
this was a roller coaster ride, like
Yeah,
literally.
there it was. I mean, there were a
And
lot of ups and downs, and people starting from the back, finishing in the front. So I get that.
yeah, and it was just crazy.
Yeah,
No one could just like be there and be like, oh, it's just a race. It was a race.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So we'll start right back. Oh, sorry. Max Verstappen represent. Go Super Max and go Danny Rick. Uh,
Honey
so yeah,
badger.
I mean, yeah, Honey Badger, Danny Rick. He has a lot of names. So, Daniel Avocado, whatever you feel like it. Uh, so yeah, let's start from the qualify. Uh, it was a very crazy Q3. It was absolutely nuts. Um, so we'll just share the Q3 the qualifying stats with you guys. That that went down on the Saturday. There was no sprint qualifying this week, so normal the normal race on Sunday and the qualifying on Saturday with 3 free practices. Out of which the free practice 3 was rained out, and yeah, that was that. So yeah, there you go. Lando Norris getting his first pole position. Carlos Sainz finishing second. The extremely underrated Carlos, and George
Not
Williams.
fourth, third, sorry.
George Williams third. This is
Yeah.
twice in 4 races. He's
George
already beaten.
Russell in
He's already
Williams.
beaten Hamilton in a Mercedes on qualifying twice in four
Whoa.
weekends.
I can't wait to see what he does in Mercedes against Hamilton.
Yeah, Williams, if he's putting it on P3, Merc he's finishing for sure P1. Like that is just how he's done that in a Williams is unreal, where his teammate finishes P14, and yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Yeah, stick it ahead.
Yeah.
Any other fun things you enjoyed about the qualifying?
I was just happy, like I've been happy to see Daniel come up since the past few races.
1 minute.
Like,
Following Daniel Ricciardo in the qualifying is a sport in itself. Always being P15, P16, always being the driver at risk and
yeah,
getting in the last lap and just qualifying. It's another adventure sport if you're a Danny Rick fan.
yeah, it's just crazy. And like lately he's been getting some good positions in qualifying as well. So
That's
it's
true.
just a whole good thing.
That's true. The summer break has completely re-energized him, and he's looking much better than
Yeah.
ever. He's giving me those 2016, 2017 Red Bull vibes where he was just dominating before Max came up and just turned the team on its
Yeah.
head. So I'm very happy
Even
for him.
Lance, I was surprised.
But Lance always does well in wet, and this was kind of a wet race. So Lance
That's there.
doing
That's there.
doing these things in wet is very regular. Fernando has been doing pretty good since the last couple of races in his Alpine.
Yeah.
That's a good part. And
He was expected a little higher, but
yeah, Gasly didn't get his P6, but he
yeah.
didn't leave his 6 number, so he's got P12. So if you know if he's gonna do bad, it's yeah, he's gonna do P18 if he doesn't do a good job. So you know that. And
But like I think P18 is reserved for a few drivers.
ouch. Okay. Fine. Giovinazzi is leaving next year. You don't have to be so mean. But okay.
I'm not talking about just him.
I mean, P20 and P19 is Mick and Mazepin, so that has to be. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was your starting grid. On the first row, there is Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz. Carl Lando of the 2020 McLaren days on the starting grid, with George Russell and Hamilton on the second row. So yeah, a lot of anticipation before the race, a lot of nervous vibes, a lot of good starts. As we all know in Sochi, P3 is generally the place to be. That's where you get the best exit and clean air. You're not dragging behind, and that's where everybody wants to be at Sochi. Be at P3 to get over there from the side and get a race. What are your expectations from the race? Did you have any expectations about the rain? How are you feeling about it?
The only thing was rain is coming. It shouldn't be Spa 2.0. That
Yeah.
was the only thing. Like,
Yeah.
I remember trying not to jinx it by telling everyone that I don't want it to be Spa 2.0. And then it was again supposed to be a boring race, which it
Yeah, of
wasn't.
course. It was one of the most interesting races of the season, if I would say so, which is a big deal.
I think this season the boring races have been the most unexpected ones.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Spa was pretty good. The French was pretty good. So yeah, that was nice. Yeah, so the race started. It actually was a pretty fun race. This is the classification at the end of the race, as you see. Hamilton and Verstappen, you put them anywhere at P4 and P18, but they're going to meet at the top of the podium. How do you finish first and second after all of that? P20, sorry, P20 to P2. How does that happen?
I
Okay.
think they are just like inseparable.
Let's have a minute of silence for Lando first. For all the Lando fans out there, like it is heartbreaking to say the least. You could see him in the media pen after the race, and he's giving interviews. Visibly had cried and had shed a tear, so it was really difficult. Yeah. So okay. So for the people who missed the race, Carlos started the race pretty well. Took the lead in going into turn two. Was leading for 3 laps when Lando overtook him, and was leading from then till the 49th lap. 49th lap is the bad lap where the rain started on the 47th and 48th, and after multiple
first lap was the bad lap for anyone who was streaming on Hotstar or Star Sports.
Oh yeah, that too. We'll come to that. That is a whole other part of the story. We'll come to that. So yeah, so 49 is where the rain started, and Lando and his team were on constant radio saying it's going to rain, it's going to rain. Does he need winters? Lando visibly handling the rain and handling of 7-time world champion with 99 race wins behind him, just wanted to concentrate. So you could visibly hear him shout, "Shut up, shut up, shut up" to his race engineer, and kept driving. And I mean, for a 21-year-old, it's very, yeah, that's a lot of pressure of going for your first race win as a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
And who's just had his best
world champion behind you, 7-time world champion,
right behind you, and just he's gonna come at any time, and just visibly so upset, he was just driving and asked his race engineer to shut up. At the same time, Lewis was talking to his race engineer. The race engineers ordered him to box, and he didn't box that lap because he didn't see Lando box and he thought he could handle the inters. But on spinning at turn 7, he realized that he had to box. So when the second time the team instructed box, he was the first one in. And that's where this race ends apparently, because he goes and drives it beautifully. For him, he goes and drives a beautiful race, finishes P1, while Lando goes up to lap 51, and he spins. And that's the end of his race for him, and that's the end of the lead for him. And he does manage to come in for inters now at lap 41, at the end of lap 41, and then he does manage to join the race in P8, but then he takes over from Kimi and finishes his race at P7.
Yeah.
What is your take on the whole thing?
So it was crazy at that point, because you can't expect someone in that position to, make such a crazy decision on the spot.
That's very true.
Gap is very little to get into the pits to change
the tire. That's true, but that's where
even for, like, say, the McLaren pit stop for Daniel, Mercedes,
they ruined that.
Yeah, and then they made him stop for a very long time. It was a slow pit stop. He could have done much better, at least during the race.
That's true.
He went so low after that.
The pit stops have been really bad since the new rules have come in. Perez had a very bad pit stop. He was visibly P3 after the inters.
It was Perez such a bad pit stop when you're taking Red Bull into consideration, especially.
Yeah. Yeah, but the new pit stop rules and regulations are as such that everybody has to learn and
Yeah.
everybody has to grasp that. So yeah, this is where I think McLaren really goofed up because they don't have the experience that Mercedes has of being a top team. So finishing 1 and 2 in the last race, it's their first 1 and 2 since 12, 13 years, and it's their first race victory in 10 years. They're not used to being at the top. So according to me, what should have happened is when Lando was P1, they should have forced him to pit, and the worst you could do was
Yeah.
get end at P2 because Max, even if you see the race qualification, Max is a minute behind. So their average pit stop in Sochi is 29 seconds. So he would still come
Yeah.
out ahead of anybody and still finish P2.
I feel they just thought that because after the pit of Hamilton, he was a little far behind.
Yeah,
So
he
they
was.
would have considered that, maybe they can
Yeah,
cover
but
it up.
the problem
But
is that
Lewis covered up pretty fast.
he did, and the problem was Lando was very hesitant of not coming in. Similarly, at the
Yeah.
same time, Daniel on his team radio is extremely vocal to his race engineer saying, I can't keep this car under control. I need inters. And he dived in for
Yeah.
inters and he made the call.
And
Similarly, the
like
team
Lando
didn't do that for Lando.
comparatively is less experienced also. Like,
Definitely. That is why
so he
the team and Lando, that is where both of them come in because if they did
yeah.
manage to pit Lando and even if Lewis did overtake him, McLaren would still finish P2 and P5. That's a good
That would
haul
have
of
been
points.
better than P7.
Yeah, P7 and P4. It's a much better haul
Yeah.
of points for them when they are fighting Ferrari in such a close battle for the Constructors' Championship because that is a lot of money finishing third in the race. And they know that they've done that last year. So, I mean, both of them did a mistake. The driver Lando did. So did McLaren, but yeah, this is how you're going to grow and learn. And F1 that was a beautifully fought race. He was my personally the driver of the day. He was killed it 99%. He killed it on Saturday with finishing on pole, and he almost led 51 laps. So
I
yeah,
think not like anyway he's like a favorite driver for a lot of people.
that's
And
true.
then doing so well, it just makes it better.
Yeah, that's true. How can you forget though? This is Lewis Hamilton's hundredth Grand Prix victory.
Is
Hundredth,
it? Is
hundredth.
it?
How does that even happen? It is absolutely mad. And the video he shares of him as a kid on social media saying how powerful an F1 car will be when he's 7 years old and how hard he's worked through everything and how self-made he is, how beautifully he's gone through his earlier years at McLaren and then coming to Mercedes where everybody doubting him that why is he throwing away his career from McLaren, which is a beautifully designed and car, and coming to Ferrari, Mercedes, which was not at that point even a mid-tier car. So yeah, that's crazy how good he's done for himself.
Yes, but his 100th win has been getting postponed since so long.
Yeah, that's
If you
true. It's almost like Sachin's 100th century. It took him almost a year to get it, but it's not taking Lewis a year, but it's still been since
yeah,
Silverstone, which is 3 months at this point. And you don't expect that from Lewis Hamilton in a Mercedes. But 2020 is a crazy year, so yeah.
21.
21 is a 2020 was crazy year, but it was very regular
This is
in the world of
crazy.
F1. In the world of F1, it's pretty regular. So 2021 has been a crazy year for F1. Oh, coming back to your TV. So I've had a lot of friends who've had issues on Hotstar as well on Star. Uh, Hotstar
Oh,
thought on lap 51 it was a better idea to show cricket, which is the most ridiculous thing when the race is just about to end and you need to see what's happening.
I remember I was on Hotstar, and I think it was the 51st lap or something, and a friend messaged me that the broadcast has stopped. I was like, what is he saying? I'm not sure. And then I literally, like, the next minute the broadcast stopped for me. I shifted to the app. I'm on split screen sending screenshots to everyone about the race, and it was just crazy.
Yeah, the F1 official app is kept things in a nice way. It's kept it nice and going for
Yeah,
us.
it saved me at least.
Yeah, it did. And
Otherwise,
on Star
everyone's
Sports, it was not a smoother experience at all as well. Like every 3 laps or every 2 laps, which is every 6 minutes, they would throw into an ad commercial which was almost 40 seconds long. There were literally
Oh, God.
overtakes happening, and they would put you into commercial. So it was really bad. Not just the
I
Indian
feel Hotstar
broadcast.
was.
Yeah, that it was. Hotstar was definitely better, I think. But I would rather take the race, take the ending of the race than the whole race. So would Lando. You'd rather win the last 10 minutes than win the 85 minutes that don't matter. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but the official broadcast wasn't that good as either. There were 92 or 93 overtakes, and they managed to only show 24 on TV for the
That
entire
is
world feed.
like so less.
That is 1/4. Like, how do you miss 75% of overtakes on TV? They were
Yeah.
continuously showing Lewis just behind
That,
Lando and not doing anything,
that's
which
the main
was
part of the whole race.
exactly. So yeah. So yeah, speaking of stupid, Bottas got a grid penalty. Uh,
Oh. Do you think that the grid penalty, like after the race started, actually made sense?
Not really, because I think personally, I think they did it just to slow Red Bull down and slow Max's charge through the midfield
Yeah,
and
but
through
like he
the.
overtook it so fast.
Yeah, it was literally 6 laps, and Bottas is like, there you go, there is space for you. Go ahead, take Lewis, take my badla, take my revenge, and go ahead for next year.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I I think Bottas should the car Bottas got before he joined Alpha, the Mercedes he got as a gift from Toto just should be aware of that. They might be missing an airbag, or Toto Wolff might have just keyed it. So there is something with that car, I'm sure.
I feel that like if he wouldn't have started P18,
19.
P17,
Yeah,
17.
no, so Latifi was 16 or 17. So there were 4 people who had to start at the back. There was Latifi,
Yeah,
there was Charles, there was Bottas, there was
Max.
Verstappen. There were
Yeah.
more people fighting for the last seat than they were fighting for the podium, I felt.
I think it was the reverse grid.
Nice. So yeah, so Bottas just let it go,
Yeah,
and
but like
and
if
the
he would
meme
have started,
he posted a meme himself on social media. Like that was the icing on the cake, and just told me that was just done only to stop
it
Max.
just it just was a sign that this was the best race of the year. I don't
Yeah,
think you're getting a better race this year.
yeah,
There may
that's
be good
but
races, there may be bad, but not better than this.
I I hope you're right, but I also hope you're wrong, because I want
Good
the
races.
Abu Dhabi race, the final race, to be the one that decides everything and to be the best race of the
Ah,
season.
I don't want it.
So
I don't
yeah.
want it like to be a very huge gap, and we know who's gonna win
Oh,
the
so
World
basically the
Championship.
last 6 years. You don't want the last 6 years to happen again. Fair,
Yeah,
fair.
because
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
someone we completely missed out on, and I think everybody does, is Carlos. Like,
Oh,
how does he get under the radar every time? He comes to a new team, and that's been
I
happening for
think
3 years at this point.
I think
Uh,
it's just a curse.
yeah, and it's happening since 3 years at this point. He left Toro Rosso, came to Renault, beat his teammate in Renault at that point, who was Nico Hulkenberg, got replaced by Daniel, went to McLaren, beat Lando for
Got
two
replaced by
years,
Daniel.
got replaced by Daniel, went to Ferrari, has beaten Charles hands down, has got 4 podiums to Charles's 1 podium, and still goes so quietly under the radar, and
Do
nobody
you think
talks so much about him.
Daniel curse will be repeated with Ferrari?
No, he's too old. He's Italian at heart, but he's too old to be a Ferrari driver. They have Mick in the waiting, and I don't think they're letting Mick go. So you are
Yeah,
seeing
I
a
feel
Schumacher in Ferrari now. Yeah,
hopefully.
hopefully,
I mean,
hopefully.
he deserves a better car.
It definitely does. And being a Ferrari young driver, I do feel like that's where he's going to go. Or it could be the Leclerc brothers. Charles's brother is doing really well in F3 this year. So
Yeah,
he's also under the Ferrari junior driver program. So that's a possibility. And
let's see.
yeah,
I mean,
the
there are too many possibilities.
that's true. Also, coming to this, the best fact of the last 6 weeks coming from the summer break is Checo Perez has the same number of points as George Russell Williams, which is 16 points in 6 races. How does
Can't
a Red
blame.
Bull have the same points as a Williams?
I'm just gonna say you can't blame George Russell for having such less points.
That's
First of
true.
all,
That's true.
The fact that with 16 points they've kept him back is also,
That's very true.
he's just someone that they can, let him be as a second driver.
Yeah, but the
And we
seat
know
is
how
cursed.
second driver
The
is.
seat is cursed, so nothing's ever happening. So that's okay.
I mean, it's better than not having a seat.
That's true. That's true. Very true. You can ask Alex Albon that.
He's coming back.
Yeah, but to Williams, which is actually doing better than an AlphaTauri or this thing. So you never know. Max P2, Lewis P1. It doesn't seem to, and they were just missing Bottas at P3. So that would be the ideal way how things have gone since the last 3 years. But it's shaping up to be a really, really, really close title fight. As they say, 7 races, 2 points, 1 title. Who takes it? I mean, that was way more dramatic.
You know what?
You know what? Just let them crash into each other and let Lando take it. I think that's good for all the Lando fans who've been heartbroken this evening, this week. Just they can crash into each other and they can end with Lando taking the championship.
Now that would be a really good plot twist.
Yeah. Sadly, they didn't crash soon enough for Mazepin to come and take it, but we'll give it to Lando.
Oh, I was scared about Mazepin coming in points because I had dares lined up for that.
Oh yes, the popular Reddit dares going ahead.
Yes,
that's very true. That's very nice. I think you keep it for the next 3 years.
P16 be there. Don't come on.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. He was not getting into the points. Don't worry. So yeah, so let's conclude this. Let's conclude this race. How many points will you give it out of 10?
Oh, 11.
11. I think that's a good number. I think it was a 9.5. I think it was a pretty good race.
Yeah, and like if you go to see the last 4, no doubt, like Lando lost and everything. Like Lando didn't get a win.
But that's what made it interesting. Like since that the whole race was so beautiful, and the rain was just the cherry on the cake.
And how much ever we hate Hotstar for ending the broadcast in between, I think that just made us more anxious to know about what is happening.
That's very true. That is actually very true.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Okay then. I'm glad we had a fun discussion about this race.
Fun session.
Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, that was a fun recap of a even better Grand Prix, and that's a good first episode. I would say that's a solid first episode.
Yeah, it was a good session.
Yeah. So see you guys. We'll see you right back before the Turkish Grand Prix in a couple of weeks. Y'all can take this weekend off. We'll be back the next week on a Thursday or a Friday to discuss the Turkish Grand Prix.
Yes.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.